guys, so today I have a book to movie comparison on Room by Emma Donoghue for you. This book originally came out in 2010, and I remember being a little bit interested in it at the time because there was so much buzz, and I picked it up, started reading the first few pages, and just couldn't handle it. Had to put it down. The reason why is because this book is told from the perspective of a 5-year-old named Jack. Normally that wouldn't be much of an issue, but in this case, everything is written how a 5-year-old would think and speak, which it's hard for me. I have trouble reading those kinds of books, even when it's written in certain dialects. I just don't like it. But recently the movie's come out, it's been nominated for Best Picture, and I had purchased this book at a sale, so I finally decided, okay, now's the time, let's do this. So I picked the book back up, and I'm really happy to say that the second time through, I was able to get over that hump and ended up really, really enjoying this book. This book has won a ton of awards. It's been nominated for a bunch of awards. I mean, they're all listed on the back. There's even a sticker right here. So you know that you're getting into something good. You're gonna have high expectations for it. And this book did live up to them. As I mentioned, you are following Jack, who is a 5-year-old, and he lives with his ma in Room. Room is basically not much bigger than a jail cell, and Jack has lived here his entire life. What you figure out, but Jack doesn't know, is that his ma was kidnapped when she was younger, and she's been kept in this room for years. Jack was born in this room, and he has purposely never been told about the outside world because ma doesn't want him to know what he's missing out on. So he thinks Room is the only thing that exists, and that creates a really interesting dynamic because ma knows about the outside world, and she misses things, and she wants to get out of there, whereas Jack knows nothing else, enjoys it for what it is, and really doesn't see the suffering that ma is going through. And then you add that extra layer of Jack's only seeing things how a 5-year-old would see them, so there's a certain bit of translation that is necessary because he will say something and you'll be like, I don't quite know what he means. Oh wait, yeah, that's not good. That sort of thing. I had a lot of those reactions because Jack was seeing one thing and I was realizing what it actually was. It creates a lot of tension, and there are some really wonderful moments, there's some gut-wrenching moments, there's some really scary moments, and I thoroughly enjoyed my experience reading this book. I ended up giving this book 5 stars because it was just a really wonderful reading experience. I felt the whole range of emotions, and the writing was really fantastic, and honestly, you can't ask for much more. The characters were great, the writing was great, the storyline was so interesting, gut-wrenching, etc. So, when you bring in the movie, which has recently come out, and as I mentioned, nominated for a Best Picture, it stars Brie Larson as Ma, and then a newcomer actor playing Jack, whose name I don't remember, unfortunately. The first challenge with the movie, of course, is that this book is told from a 5-year-old's perspective, so how do you translate that into a movie? And I noticed certain things that they did, some lower camera angles, and really just following Jack the whole time. The book is first person, so it's kind of hard to get everything Jack's thinking in there, but they do their best to sort of say, hey, this is what Jack's seeing. Now, sort of figure it out, just like I had to do in the book. The one thing that they really got right was the tone. There's a certain tone in this book, and that tone translates to the movie really well. I think it's a mix of the innocence that Jack has and sort of the desperation and sadness of Ma, and they really were able to capture that in the movie. There are lots of little things that are very much the same, and the tension and feelings that I had while reading the book were also very present in the movie, which is great considering I knew exactly what was going to happen. The big change was that they cut certain characters, and I don't really want to give too much away because spoilers, but I understand that movies cannot be exactly like their counterparts. In this case, I really think that cutting those certain characters was justified. I still ended up feeling the same way at the end of both of them. I don't feel like it really, ruined any part of the story. And so, I'll let it happen, I'll let it happen. Since they couldn't include every little thing from the book into the movie, they did a good job of sort of dropping hints for those who knew other things. So there would be certain objects in places or certain things referenced, and you were like, ah, yes, I see what you did there, because although they didn't have time to address it in the movie, it's a little nod to the book readers because somebody who hasn't read the book wouldn't really understand what this certain object is doing here. But for me, it was really great because I was like, oh yeah, that happened. In this case, I think I'm gonna give the movie 4.5 out of 5 stars. It was a really good movie, and I'm not surprised at all that it's nominated for Best Picture and that Brie Larson is nominated for Best Actress, because it is a really wonderful movie. But the book really has everything that you want. Whereas the movie, you know, you wanted a little bit more from it, at least for me, because I knew what the potential was, where it was coming from. If you're debating picking up Room, I highly suggest it. It is a really, really good book. And then you can watch the movie afterwards and, you know, do a little compare and contrast like I did, and enjoy them both for what they are. If you've read Room or you've read the book and seen the movie, let me know what you thought of them down below. How'd you think the movie compared to the book? Obviously, you know, don't get too spoilery. We still got some people out there who don't know the story and I'm sure want to read it without knowing exactly what happens, because it was a really great experience for me not knowing what happens. Let me know your thoughts down below. As always, all of our links are in the doobly-doo. Please check those out if you feel so inclined. Thank you guys very much for watching, and I'll see you later.